Good morning. Welcome to Fantasy Baseball on a Saturday. We like to start a little bit early just to see if the sound comes through quickly. Yesterday, the sound came through very quickly. So I'm hoping that the sound will come through quick today. So I'm just going to be checking out the sound. And of course, you can find us here at LennyMelnickFantasySports.com/live. Every morning at 9 a.m., come rain or shine, snow, hail, sleet, storms, hurricanes, mudslides, anything. You can find us here at 9 a.m. live in the chat room. So come on, sign up. We don't send spam. We don't sell your information. We don't ever bother you. We just like to know your name in the chat room. We love to interact, and it's great for fantasy. We have a lot of great baseball minds that are super baseball fans. So come join us in the chat room any day, every day, 9 a.m., and let's get started. Sound is good, so go ahead and refresh everybody. Thank you, guest Meneses. Now, Boston Paul, I know that's you, and I want to know, we spent all that time yesterday getting you hooked up with the new password and stuff. And then what did Meneses do yesterday? Did he do something great? I'll tell you who's great. It's Joey Votto. And I'm not speaking on fantasy aspect here. I'm speaking about Joey Votto as a great veteran leader of the clubhouse. He did a rare interview yesterday after the game. Thanks to SM King Turd who posted it in the chat room. Hopefully he'll post that interview again. I have to say, I like watching most interviews. Votto doesn't do very many interviews. He hasn't had the greatest rapport with the media in his career. I've always really liked Votto. Excellent veteran, clubhouse guy, great leader. The interview made me cry a little bit, and I'm so proud to be able to talk about baseball today. And the Cincinnati Reds, America's team right now, just how exciting is it? And it's about a 4-minute interview with Votto talking about just how exciting Ellie is and this team, and just basically saying that he's never seen a better product than the Reds as a fan. He says he puts on his fan hat, and he says this is exactly what I would pay to see, with the fast-paced, aggressive young stars. Ellie is the fastest guy in baseball. Yesterday, he stole a base and hit for the cycle. This team, I was listening to MLB Radio, one of the shows that Lenny listens to when he goes to sleep at night, but this lady on there was making a bet with her co-host about how many home runs do you think the Braves will hit at Cincinnati, the Great American Ballpark? She was calling it the Great American Small Park. We all know that it's notorious for home runs. But you have Atlanta, which is just a home run hitting monster, going to Cincinnati. They're just on fire right now. And so the bet, the over-under was set for her. She said 9 home runs in a 3-game series just by the Atlanta Braves. And I would say they're about halfway there after just one game, because it was just according to King Turd, which I'll quote him on this, says it was the best game of the season last night. So like I said, I'm very excited to be able to talk about baseball with you guys today, talk about the wonderful Cincinnati Reds and just how exciting baseball is. You have to take into consideration this pitch clock thing when he talks about how it's such a it's fast paced now, and that has something to do with the pitch clock. Whether you like it or not, the pitch clock has made the game faster paced. And these youngsters that are coming up just full of life, full of potential, full of excitement. It's like watching the March Madness in basketball. These youngsters, they have so much to look forward to, so much to try hard for. And it just seems like they just have heart like nobody else. So this is a real exciting time for baseball, real exciting time for youngsters. Another somewhat youngster, Julio Rodriguez, we're going to start the tidbits off with him. This writer says that he's unlikely to make the All-Star team, but he will be in the Home Run Derby. So, of course, I say to myself, why is he unlikely to make the All-Star team? He's literally on pace for 30-30 right now. He's got 12 home runs and 16 stolen bases. So how is he not going to make the All-Star team? I'd like to know if any of you in the chat room have a better Mariner to make the All-Star team than Julio Rodriguez. And yes, I know they have some great young pitching. They have some people, but who's a better All-Star for the Mariners than Julio Rodriguez? Regardless, brushing that note off, he's still going to be in the home run derby. He's joining Mookie Betts, Dodgers outfielder, who said he will also participate in the home run derby, providing he makes the All-Star team, which I would have to say this guy is pretty much a lock for the All-Star team too. He's got 7 leadoff homers this season, tied for the third most in a season in Dodgers franchise history. That's his 43rd leadoff home run of his career. Let me have a sip of coffee. Great to see everybody in the chat room. Tito Luna, love it. Great to see you. Eddie Heckman. Chris from Cambridge, Daniel's here. Can't wait to talk about those White Sox. And is Unholy here?
Unholy's here.
Whoopee, Unholy.
Ferrara's here.
Daniel, Mitchell.
Here.
Mitchell
Post is here. Rotorius is here.
Gallo is here.
Johnston is here. Tommy is here.
Tommy Johnson, Tito Luna, King Turd, Rotorius, Post 1958, Mitchell, Eddie, Daniel, Data Premier, nice to see you. Chris Gallo, Chris from Cambridge. And just really excited to see Unholy in the chat room today. And say hello to the dogs, too. Eddie, all right. So here's another interesting thing I want you guys to touch on in the chat room if you feel so inclined. But MLB changed the scoring yesterday. It was a play about 5 days ago that changed Kyle Schwarber's. It changed a play to an error. So there was 5 unearned runs as a result. Lenny wants to know, does it affect fantasy? We talked about it this morning, and I said, well, just changing something from a hit to an error, I don't know how much that's going to impact fantasy, but I guess there was 5 unearned runs, so somebody got some RBIs off of that. And the pitcher's stats clearly change because 5 earned runs to 5 unearned runs could really help out a fantasy pitcher. I mean, it's a long season, but I know in Fantrax there's a choice. You have a choice of whether or not you want corrected stats to be used in your fantasy league. Yeah, they actually do offer that. But nobody ever, I definitely don't really pay attention to it because how often does that happen where, an error changes the stats of a pitcher, 5 runs turn into 5 unearned runs, and that definitely helps the ERA and the stats. If you're in a weekly league, that makes a big difference. A head-to-head weekly league, that could make a big difference. So the Angels acquired Eduardo Escobar from the Mets, for infield depth because Gio Urshela is expected to miss the rest of the season. The Mets are actually going to pay. They don't care. It seems like they just have endless amounts of money, right? They're going to pay all but the prorated minimum of Eduardo Escobar's $9.5 million salary this year. He also has a $9 million club option with a $500,000 buyout for 2024. He was batting .236 in 40 games with the Mets. He had a .286 on base percentage, 4 home runs, 2 stolen bases, and 120 plate appearances. But he's probably going to see a lot of time because he plays both third base and second base. He could play both for the Angels, and they have just a ton of injuries right now. So he should be in the lineup on a regular basis. Emmett Sheehan of the Dodgers, he had a decent outing yesterday. He's the only MLB pitcher in the modern era to pitch at least 12 innings and allow no more than 3 hits over his first 2 career appearances. He was a 6th-round draft pick in 2019, and the Dodgers bullpen hasn't allowed a run in 17 1/3 innings over the past 4 games, so maybe they're not as bad as they were. Maybe they are. Who knows? Baseball is a long season. It's an up and down battle. That's for sure. We're going to talk about the Reds right now. It just gives me a great feeling talking about these kids, everything with Votto. He's been there forever. Lenny and I went to a game back when Aroldis Chapman was still pitching as closer for the Reds, and the fans there were excellent. We made several friends in the stands. The Reds weren't that good, but the ballpark was sold out. It's right across the river from the football stadium. They have a great selection of restaurants and bars out front, and I will never forget, I ate more at that game than I've ever consumed at any baseball game in my life. 2 chili dogs, 2 hamburgers, like 3 martinis. It was crazy, but what a fun time that was. Let's talk about the Reds. Elly De La Cruz, 4 for 4, a home run, 4 RBIs, 3 runs scored, a triple, a double, and a stolen base. Keeping track, turd. All right. The Reds completed their 5th straight come from behind win and their league leading 27th of the season. You know, just 2 months ago on April 17th, the Reds drew the smallest crowd in the ballpark's 21-year history. It was 7,375. This now, I don't know. I'm going to tell you how many how many people were at the ballpark, but it was a sellout yesterday, and it's probably going to sell out for the next 2 games because these 2 teams are excellent right now. I mean, even Votto said, if I was a fan who loved baseball, this is the team that I would pay money to see, and I agree 100%. The 12-game winning streak is tied for the 3rd longest in franchise history, and the last time the Reds had a longer single-season winning streak was in 1899. It was only Elly De La Cruz's 15th career game. He hit for the cycle. Did you know that he has a twin brother who's 5'8"? Now, he wears the same number as Eric Davis, right? And he actually is the first batter to hit for the cycle since Eric Davis did it in 1989, the same number 44, and he actually wears that number, picked it on his own in honor of Davis. Not surprising, right, that he would look up to and admire a guy like Eric Davis. It was the major's longest cycle drought for a team with a 6th inning triple. He did this all by the 6th inning. He's 21 years and 163 days old. Elly De La Cruz is the 5th youngest player to hit for the cycle. He's the only MLB player to hit for the cycle, steal a base, and drive in at least 4 runs, all within the first 6 innings of a game since RBI became an official stat in 1920. They went 34 years between cycles, the Reds did. What, Leonard?
Nothing. Everything is good.
Wait, Danny, we got you signed up yesterday. Why are you still a guest, my friend? Well, I'm still happy that you made it. It's wonderful to see you. Hello, King Hap. Great to see you, too.
I'll thank Malpal for the shirt.
And Malpal, I got my gift today. I love my new shirt. Malpal went on a trip with his wife to Tennessee. They went to a couple of those fun bars down in Nashville. And Malpal sent me a shirt that says, I like beer and maybe 3 people. It's pretty good. I love it. All right. 39-year-old Joey Votto faced 20-year-old A.J. Smith-Shawver. The last time the Reds had a batter aged 39 or more face a pitcher aged 20 or younger was in 1985. Cincinnati leads the National League in stolen bases with 78. That's 20 more than they had all of last season combined. The Yankees are not doing good. They're absolutely horrible without Aaron Judge. Their on-base percentage, not their batting average, their on-base percentage is .257 since Aaron Judge's last game. Now, the Pirates, they call up Nick Gonzalez today. He's going to join the Pirates in Miami, and he's poised to make his Major League debut this weekend. I'll tell you a little bit more about him. He's not that exciting. I love it.
Good hitter.
King Turd, Votto still baked. Love it. Okay. Oh, he's a good hitter, yes. I have another youngster that's coming up to make his Major League debut today, too, that's not so great. But this guy, 24 years old, named Nick Gonzalez, 257 batting average, 6 home runs, 27 RBIs, 38 runs, and a stolen base over 218 at-bats in 57 games for AAA this season. He was selected in the first round of the 2020 draft. He could get a long look in the majors as the Pirates tried to find a long-term solution at second base. So he is up, and he is ready to make his debut, and he is worth picking up in fantasy. The Braves have hit 17 homers that have traveled at least 450 feet. No other team has more than 6. So almost 3 times the number of this team is a home run hitting monster team, okay? Now, Luis Arias, 402 batting average, the 5th highest by a qualified hitter in his team's first 77 games since 1941. He has the longest active streak of not striking out multiple times in a game. 96 games he's gone without striking out more than once. Nobody has finished with a batting average over 400 in a full season since Ted Williams hit 406 in 1941. All right, you look at the shortstops out there right now, and it's an interesting comparison when you start to talk about some money, okay, the dinero. Trey Turner, 11-year, $300 million contract. Xander Bogaerts, 11 years, $300 million. Carlos Correa, 6 years, $200 million. Dansby Swanson, 7 years, $177 million, and none of them have a Fangraphs WAR above Orlando Arcia, who is signed for 3 years and totaling $7.3 million. Francisco Lindor ranks in the National League among shortstops. He ranks first in home runs, first in RBIs, first in runs scored, second in slugging, 4th in WOBA, 4th in weighted runs created plus, and 3rd in WAR. Last night, the Braves collected 15 hits, scored 10 runs, hit 5 home runs, had a 3-home run inning, stole multiple bases, committed no errors, and struck out 10 opposing batters, and they still lost. No other team in MLB history has done all of that in the same game. By season's end, Jose Altuve could accumulate his 2,000th hit, his 200th homer, his 300th steal, his 400th double. He'd be the 18th player to hit that combination of benchmarks, and we can all thank Sarah Langs for that great tidbit. Yeah, but Lindor is having a bad year according to fans, right? Well, that's your New York fans for you, right? That's how we roll over here in New York, even though I never do that. I tried to be a Yankees fan. I don't hate the Yankees like I used to, but I definitely don't hate the Mets right now, even though I know a lot of fans are very disappointed. The New York radio is crazy. All they do is bash on the New York teams, and I have to say, it's so true that Lindor is having a bad year according to fans. All right, let's go to the games now. We're going to start with the greatest game of the season, right? Might be the greatest game in baseball. I don't know how long it's been, but I've never seen a game like that. These two teams are totally exciting, even if they don't. I don't know. It's just a combination of everything. It's a combination of the youngsters. The Cincinnati Reds are doing so great. Joey Votto coming back. I don't know why it is so important to me, but he is such a glue that would hold this team together. He's great. He actually hit 2 home runs yesterday, okay? The Cincinnati Reds extended their winning streak to 12 games over the Braves, 11-10. And Atlanta was actually on an 8-game winning streak, but Cincinnati put an end to that. The Reds' winning streak is tied for the second best in franchise history, and I told you the only one better was back in like 1900 or something. De La Cruz became the first Cincinnati player in 34 years to hit for the cycle. He completed it by the 6th inning. He had 4 RBIs. It was the 7th in team history cycle, fifth since 1900 and first since 1989. We talked about Chris Davis and the fact that he wears the same number. The crowd was 43,086 at Great American Ballpark 2 months after a record low for attendance of 7,375. Think of that. 7,300 to 43,000 in just 2 months. Now that place is a sold out fun park, okay? The Reds overcame a 5-run Braves first inning against Luke Weaver. Matt Olson hit 2 homers. Ronald Acuna hit a homer. Travis d'Arnaud hit a homer. Austin Riley hit a homer. They earned their Major League best 27th comeback victory of the season. 3 of Atlanta's homers were in the 8th inning. Alexis Diaz, 21st save in 21 tries. Talk about a good closer right now. Colin McHugh took the loss. Votto, it was his 19th career multi-homer game. It was just his 4th game since being activated Monday from the injured list, and his 2 home runs combined for 843 feet. Jake Fraley, De La Cruz, and Votto homered against A.J. Smith-Shawver. A.J. Smith-Shawver blew a 5-0 lead, but I still like the guy. He's going to have his ups and downs. He's a brand new prospect, so... The Braves sent 9 batters to the plate in the 18-minute top of the first, giving them consecutive 5-run innings. They scored 5 in the first, they scored 5 in the second, and they lost the game. Weaver threw 43 pitches in the first inning. He lasted 3 1/3 innings, allowing 7 hits and 5 runs, 1 walk, struck out 3. Weaver has no decisions in his last 7 starts since a 7-6 win over Mets on May 9th. Smith-Shawver, 5 runs, 3 1/3 innings. Still struck out 4. Cincinnati released Will Myers, who was designated for assignment on Tuesday. And tonight you get to see Graham Ashcraft coming off the 15-day injured list. He's making his first start since June 8th. He will be opposed by Jared Schuster, a lefty. White Sox out. His NL only is loaded with Braves and Reds. That was fun to watch. I can only imagine how fun. Diaz, I'm sorry. I say his name wrong. Okay, I'll try harder next time. Thank you, Tito. Thank you. Okay. All right, the Tampa Bay Rays beat the Royals 11-3. Tampa Bay finished with 17 hits, with all the starting position players getting at least 1 hit. The Royals have the major's second worst record at 21-55. Now, they did win the opener of a 4-game series on Thursday night, but Tampa Bay is 53-26 overall and 33-9 in home games. Tampa Bay is the 18th team since 1901 to start the season with at least 33 wins in the first 42 home games. My boy, Zach Eflin, won his 9th game. He improved to 8-0 in 8 home starts, allowing 3 runs and 7 hits over 6 innings. Do pitch, Eflin, when he throws at home. That's for your DFS notebook. He's the first pitcher to win each of his first 8 home starts since St. Louis' Adam Wainwright did it in 2010. Greinke made his 530th start to tie Hall of Famer Eddie Plank for 35th place all-time. This guy's on my bitch. Thank heaven. 4 2/3, 9 hits, 7 earned runs, and only 3 strikeouts. Okay, that's not good. 82 pitches it took him to get through 4 2/3. What are you, Joey Meneses? Joey V now? Okay, I think that's still Boston Paul, but thank you for the compliment, all right? Jose Siri homered and drove in 4 runs. Nick Pratto, Salvador Perez homered. Now, Salvador Perez, this is an injury alert maybe. He was checked by the trainer in the 5th inning, and he was replaced at catcher 1 inning later due to a right hamstring cramp. Now, he's listed as day-to-day, so don't be surprised if he doesn't get in the lineup today. Rosarina picked up his 54th RBI, having a quietly very good season for RBIs this year. Wander Franco didn't play for the second straight day as he he's addressing his handling of frustrating situations. Cash is punishing him and said that he's going to be benched for at least 2 games. Yesterday was his second game on the bench, so I expect to see Wander Franco back in the order today. Cash believes that Shane McClanahan can avoid going on the injured list. That's good news. He left Thursday's game with mid-back tightness, so I don't know if that's good news or not, right? If they're just going to have him skip starts sitting on the bench, that's not good for fantasy people, but that's good news for the Tampa Bay Rays. Brandon Lau, herniated disc, hit against the injured relievers on the team. He might play in a minor league game next week. He's still going to be injured, so if you're still wondering when's Brandon Lau coming back, you have at least another week. Tonight you get to see Royals' Jordan Lyles. He's looking to win his first game of the season. He's started the season now on a 15-start winless streak. You know, the last person to lose that many starts to begin the season was Vida Blue. He held the Kansas City record of 14 winless streak. That was in 1983. So Jordan Lyle breaking records for the most winless starts to begin a season ever for the Royals. He's going up against Yonny Chirinos, who will either start or follow an opener. Yes, that's Boston Paul, no doubt. Hello, Leonard Donaldson. Great to see you this morning. Leonard. Okay, the Twins beat the Tigers 4-1. The Twins had 3 team members, including manager Rocco Baldelli, ejected by the home plate umpire. It was the first time Minnesota had 3 ejections in a game since 2003. Kenta Maeda throwing some great pitches yesterday. Threw 5 scoreless innings in his return from the injured list. He allowed 3 hits, struck out 8, and walked 2. Joey Wentz, 4 runs, 3 earned, and 5 hits with 4 walks in 5+ innings. The Twins batters struck out 16 overall. The Twins pitchers struck out 16 Tigers. All right, Max Kepler hit a homer. Royce Lewis hit a homer. How's Royce Lewis doing? That was his 4th home run yesterday. Kepler hit his 10th home run. Johan, Duran, the closer, 10th save in 12 chances. Byron Buxton, all right, at the end of 2021, Byron Buxton was hitting .302 against the Tigers with 9 homers and 169 at-bats. Right now, he's hitting .073 with no extra base hits and 55 at-bats. He almost broke the slump in the 9th inning, but Andy Ibanez reached over the left field fence to rob him of a home run. That poor guy is having just a terrible time against the Tigers. So you DFS people, this guy used to crush the Tigers. Now he's batting less than 100 against the Tigers. Does that mean it's time to put him against the Tigers in DFS? Because you'll likely get him very cheap right now, and there's no doubt that this streak has to come to an end in the near future. Tonight you get to see Reese Olson against Pablo Lopez. All right, the Pirates snapped a 10-game losing streak yesterday. They beat the Marlins 3-1. They were down 1-0 after 8 innings. They scored 3 runs against A.J. Puck and Dylan Floro. That was Puck's second squandered save in 12 opportunities. All right, Pittsburgh starter Luis Ortiz, he settled down after allowing a run in the first and shut out Miami the next 7 innings. He gave up 7 hits, walked 2, and struck out 5. He also induced 2 double-play groundouts that ended innings. Jesus Luzardo threw 7+ innings of 2-hit ball for Miami. He struck out 9 and walked 1. McCutchen stole 2 bases yesterday for 9 total on the season. Palacios stole his second base. and Davis stole his first base. David Bednar closed with a perfect ninth for his 15th save, and of course, what's a game recap without talking about Luis Arias? 3 hits, his batting average is .402. Jesus Sanchez gave Miami the lead with a run-scoring single in the first. Connor Joe tied it with an RBI ground out. Here's another youngster that's coming up. This is the one I got confused about earlier. Nick Gonzalez. The Pirates selected Nick Gonzalez's contract from AAA. Nope, this is the same guy. I have another one to talk about in a minute. This is the same guy. But I did want to mention, the Pirates are talking about they need a permanent fill-in. You know, they're looking for a long-term second baseman. This guy also plays third base, too. He's played 32 games at second and 14 games at third and 8 games at shortstop all this season in the minors. So he's played 3 positions, and if you have a 15-game minimum, he's not going to qualify anywhere but second base. But depending on what kind of minimum number of games to qualify, he could qualify at third base and shortstop too. The Pirates transferred Vince Velasquez to the 60-day injured list, and Johnny Cueto gave up 6 runs and 8 hits over 4 2/3 in a rehab outing with AAA Jacksonville. I swear I feel like this is deja vu. I feel like I talked about Johnny Cueto last Saturday, and he did the same thing last Thursday. He gave up like 8 runs and all this. He's not doing well in his rehab starts. That I can tell you. Tonight you get to see Osvaldo Bido against Brian Hoeing. Cueto done, he says. How many division leaders won't win the division come October? I would have to look at the standings right now, but I could tell you that up for grabs for sure is the AL Central, the NL Central. Well, maybe not now with the Cincinnati. But I think a lot can happen between now and then. I definitely think the Cardinals will bounce back at some point this season. I think the AL West is still up for grabs. I think the NL West is up for grabs. I don't know. I think they're all up for, I don't know how many, but I could tell you, I will tell you this, I don't think a team with a sub 500 record will win the division.
In the Central.
I know, but I don't think that's going to happen, Leonard. Maybe. The American League Central is the only chance. The Phillies took advantage of 2 defensive miscues by the New York Mets, and they beat them. They beat the Mets 5-1. The Mets are looking so bad with their freaking errors. So are the Yankees, though, I have to say. I was just dogging on the fans for knocking both of these teams all the time, but they really are not doing good right now. Philadelphia, though, has won 7 of 9, and the Mets have lost 3 in a row and 14 of their last 18 to fall further back in the playoff race. New York is now 34-41 because of their freaking defense errors, dude, all the time. Taijuan Walker pitched 6 strong innings. He gave up 1 run and 3 hits. Of course, he used to pitch for the Mets. Now he pitches for the Phillies, so he faced his old team. Kodai Senga pitched for the Mets last night. 4 runs, 2 of them earned, 5 hits with 6 strikeouts and 3 walks in 5 1/3 innings. Brandon Marsh had 3 hits, a double and an RBI, and Trey Turner had a pair of RBIs. Let's see. Bryce Harper drove in a run. Then he was ejected in the 7th inning because he was arguing over a called 3rd strike. Brandon Nimmo hit a home run and stole a base, I believe. The Mets and Phillies will play a 2-game series in London next season as MLB takes another rivalry abroad. Whoop-de-doo. I told you earlier that the Mets traded Eduardo Escobar to the Angels for 2 minor league pitchers. He actually, Escobar has not been doing well, so if anybody has this guy in any kind of only league, this is a great move for you because he pretty much lost his job to Brett Beatty when they called him up from the minors. And he was actually very good. In his last 25 games, between second and third base, Eduardo Escobar batted .333 with 3 home runs, 2 triples, 10 RBI, and a .951 OPS in his last 25 games. So the Mets are short on arms, pitching staff, and these 2 prospects that they traded for, Landon Marceau and Coleman Crowe, both were starters at AA Rocket City. Marceau was 3-6 with a 4.88 ERA in 12 starts. He had 45 strikeouts in 59 innings, and Crowe, 22 years old, was 2-0 with a 1.88 ERA and 31 strikeouts in 4 starts, covering 24 innings. Tyler McGill was optioned to AAA Syracuse. Lenny told you that yesterday, I believe. He's 6-4 with a 5.17 ERA for the Mets. But Showalter did not announce a replacement for McGill in the rotation. He was scheduled to start Tuesday at home against Milwaukee. So basically Showalter is saying that the club is considering several options. Tonight you get to see Max Scherzer against Christopher Sanchez. Seattle Mariners beat the Orioles 13-1. It started 100 minutes late because of rain. 6 Baltimore pitchers combined to throw 221 pitches. And Seattle has scored double digits in 2 straight games. Logan Gilbert, 2 hits, 7 innings, struck out 5. He induced plenty of weak contact. Kyle Gibson, 5 runs, 7 hits, 3 innings. That snapped a streak of 12 games in which Baltimore starters had allowed 3 earned runs or fewer. Teoscar Hernandez and Tom Murphy each homered. That was Tom Murphy's 3rd home run of the season. And Teoscar's 13th. It looks like he homered twice. No, that's RBIs. Hernandez, 14th homer. Austin Hayes singled in the 2nd for Baltimore's only hit until Anthony Santander hit a homer in the 7th inning. The Mariners were already comfortably ahead before they added 7 runs in the 8th inning. They strung together 6 consecutive singles with 2 outs in the 8th inning. Hernandez, Ty France, and Eugenio Suarez finished with 3 hits apiece. And as far as injury updates for the Mariners, Service, how do you say his name? Scott Service? Service. He said that J.P. Crawford could have been available if he was needed, but he did not play. You know, he has a bruised right shoulder. And tonight you get to see Dean Kremer against Bryce Miller. The Texas Rangers and the New York Yankees are headed in opposite directions. Amazingly, Texas Rangers, they've won 5 of their last 6, and they lead the AL West at 47-28. The Rangers top the major leagues with 455 runs and a .272 batting average. The Yankees dropped to 10-16 this season with Aaron Judge on the injured list. They've lost 6 of their last 8 and 10 of their last 16 games. They are 31-19 when Judge is available, but they have produced 60 runs and a .192 batting average in June. That's both major league lows for the month of June. They had 6 hits or fewer for the 11th time in 16 games since Judge's latest injury, including 5 of the last 6. Giancarlo Stanton is batting .096 with a pair of solo homers for his only RBI since he returned from a strained hamstring. Kiner Falefa committed a bad error. Plus, he tried to steal second base in the 5th, and he was called safe by the umpire, even though his foot popped off the base. He thought he was out. He knew he was actually out, and he started walking away, and they tagged him out. But a video review would likely shown that he was out to begin with, so it wouldn't have mattered. But he's making some major mistakes, so you got to take advantage of stuff like that. Adolis Garcia drove in a hanging curve to the left field seats. 17th home run of the season. He's tied with Boston's Rafael Devers with a big league best 60 RBIs. Michael King has a .982 ERA in his last 6 appearances, up from a .165 ERA in his first 19. he's changed his stance. They say that his right hip has been more square to the plate, keeping his back leg from driving toward the plate, but hello, it's not working. Will Smith pitched a perfect 10th for his 14th save and 15 chances. Dane Dunning gave up 2 runs and 5 hits in 7 innings, while Schmidt allowed an unearned run and 6 hits in 5 1/3. Eovaldi will start tomorrow's game on normal rest and flip spots with Andrew Heaney, who will take the mound Monday in a homestand opener against Detroit. Robbie Grossman's second inning double made him 5 for 5 in his career against Schmidt with 3 doubles and a homer. He grounded out his next 2 times up against Schmidt, so DFS people looks like he's pretty good against this Schmidt guy. Robbie Grossman, very cheap in DFS, that's a fact. Will Judge be out all year? Just reading the chat room. I don't think this is the end of Aaron Judge. And Holy brings up how good Rafael Devers is. He turned a sure double into a double play. All right, so the trainer's room information for the Rangers. Jack Leiter, the number 2 pick in the 2021 amateur draft. He was scratched from his start for Double-A Frisco. The Rangers said he will miss 1 turn because of fatigue and workload management, and they will put him on the developmental list, whatever that is. Yankees at Nestor Cortez is about a week from throwing off a mound. Willie Calhoun's strained left quadriceps is between grade 1 and 2. Tonight you get to see Luis Severino, who's having a horrible season. He's got a 6.30 ERA, go up against John Gray, who is 5-1 with a 1.99 ERA in his last 7 starts. All right. Shea Langoliers hit a tie-breaking home run in the 9th, and the Oakland Athletics beat the Blue Jays 5-4 to snap an 8-game losing streak. That was Langoliers' 9th home run, and he hit it off of the closer Jordan Romano. Toronto lost the opener of a 3-game series against the team with the worst record in the majors. Oakland won for the first time since June 13th. That win over the Rays was the last in a 7-game streak for the Athletic. They came in having scored 3 runs or fewer in 7 of their previous 8 games. They are 20-58. They were the final big league team to reach 20 wins and avoided falling 40 games below 500. Oakland had 5 one-run losses in its 8-game skid. The Athletics are 12-16 in one-run games. Langoliers went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., he hit a home run at home. It was the first home run he's hit all season at home. It was 434 feet, snapped a 32-game drought this season. He hadn't gone deep anywhere since June 4th. Trevor May, 4th save and 6 chances. J.J. Bleday hit his 5th home run. Chris Bassett allowed 4 runs and 5 hits. His 3rd straight winless outing, he walked 2 and struck out 4. And James Caprillion, 4 runs, 6 hits, 6 innings. He walked 1 and he struck out 8. Oakland put Ramon Laureano on the 10-day injured list, retroactive to June 22nd. He has a fractured right hand. Manager Kotze said that x-rays did not reveal the fracture. After Laureano's soreness persisted, they did an MRI, and that revealed the injury. The Blue Jays' Bo Bichette returned after sitting out Wednesday's game because of a sore left thumb. It was the first game he missed this season. Blue Jays manager says Alek Manoah is trending in the right direction following a simulated game, but there's still no timetable for his return. And tonight you get to see Jose Berrios, who's having a decent season, 3.64 ERA, against the new guy, Hogan Harris. The Brewers beat Cleveland 7-1. Cleveland had its winning streak snapped at 4 games, and Milwaukee improved to a major's best 35-6 when scoring at least 4 runs. Wade Miley pitched 6 sharp, scoreless innings, allowed 3 hits, and retired his last 11 batters. He was lifted after the sixth when his legs began tightening in the soggy conditions. He had some success with the new sinker that he tried out the past few days. And Shane Bieber, he matched Miley for the first 5 innings. He struck out 8 before running into major trouble in the 6th. He was lifted by Terry Francona after 82 pitches. That matches his fewest in 16 starts this season. Willie Adames homered twice. He drove in 5 runs. It was his first home run in 54 plate appearances. He came into the game batting just .203. He went 4 for 5 in his third career multi-homer game. It was the 6th time he's gotten 4 hits. Also, Jose Ramirez homered. And the Guardians are finalizing plans and a timetable for Tristan McKenzie. The team has recommended McKenzie not throw for up to a month, but Francona said the club will have more information on McKenzie next week. Brewers' Matt Bush was activated after missing 2 months with rotator cuff tendonitis. He takes the roster spot of Trevor McGill, who was also... So Trevor and Tyler both got canned. Well, Trevor didn't get canned. He got optioned to AAA. But his brother got... I don't know. All right, moving on. Okay, Will Brennan, the outfielder for the Guardians. He felt good after playing catch, and he could be back in the lineup this weekend. He hurt his shoulder while making a diving catch. And Cal Quantrill will pitch at AA Akron tomorrow before rejoining the rotation. Freddie Peralta pitches tonight. He's making his first career start against Cleveland. And the Guardians will counter with rookie Tanner Bybee. No, Leonard Donaldson. MLB Radio does not give you all the information you need. That's why you come here to the Lenny Melnick Fantasy Baseball Show every day at 9 a.m. All right, Brian Bello pitched 1-run ball into the 7th, and Rafael Devers hit a 2-run homer, leading the Red Sox to a 3-1 victory over the White Sox, the sloppy White Sox. Boston struck out 17 times and finished with just 4 hits, but they still beat the White Sox. It was the 7th win in the last 9 games for the Red Sox. Elvis Andrus and Tim Anderson both made costly errors for the White Sox. Now Bello is mixing in a new cutter. He allowed 6 hits, struck out 5, and walked 1 in 6 2/3 innings. He improved to 2-1 with a 2.36 ERA in 4 June starts. Chicago... They lost for the 9th time in 12 games, but Giolito struck out a season-high 10 in 6 sharp innings, so it definitely wasn't his fault. Kenley Jansen got his 16th save. Eloy had 3 hits. Tim Anderson got his first big league appearance at second base. He played that position for the U.S. in this year's World Baseball Classic. So look for him. I don't know if they're going to continue to put him at second base or what's going on. He did make an error there, but maybe he'll qualify at second base soon, which will be a positive if he could ever stay healthy. Devers hit his first homer since June 13th and 18th of the season. The Red Sox recalled Bobby Dahlbeck and left-hander Chris Murphy from AAA. Infielder Pablo Reyes was placed on the 10-day injured list with an abdominal strain. The White Sox catcher Yasmani Grandal was out of the starting lineup after he was scratched on Wednesday because of right knee soreness, but he did fly out as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning, and then he stayed in the game at catcher, so it looks like Yasmani Grandal is back. Tonight you get to see Lance Lynn against James Paxton. Lance Lynn, you remember, had the best start of recent memory in his last outing. He still has a 6.51 ERA on the season, but he's going up against James Paxton, who is 2-0 with a 2.22 ERA in his last 4 starts. Ohtani and Mike Trout hit back-to-back homers at Coors Field. Now, how do I say this guy's name, Tito? Elias Diaz. Or Diaz. Tell me, Tito. How am I supposed to say Elias's name? Anyway, I'm going to mention him a lot, so hurry up. He hit the go-ahead grand slam in the 8th inning. The Colorado Rockies beat the Los Angeles Angels 7-4. The Rockies snapped their longest losing streak of the season at 8 games. Entering the night, the Rockies were 12-30 against the Angels, their worst record against any franchise. And the Angels had been 33-5 this season when leading after 7 innings. And they did lead after 7 innings, but Colorado scored 4 runs in the 8th inning and the game was over after that. Jurickson Profar launched a leadoff homer. Elias doubled and finished with 3 hits. His 426-foot drive to center field marked the first grand slam by a Rockies player since he did it in 2021. He boosted his home batting average to .348 this season. Great for a catcher, I'll tell you. Ohtani smashed his major league leading 25th home run, also a double and a single. He has at least 1 extra base hit in 10 consecutive road games, a franchise record and the longest such streak in the majors since 2009. It was the 200th home run of his professional career, including 151 in the majors. Trout's home run was number 16 of the season, and it was the 9th time the 2 superstars have hit back-to-back home runs, tying them for the most in team history with Trout and Pujols. Justin Lawrence got his 3rd save. Sam Bachman took the loss. Anthony Rendon felt a lot better after leaving his wrist alone, and tonight, you get to see Chase Anderson against Griffin Canning. Where's Tito? Where are you, Tito? Xander Bogaerts, Juan Soto. Is Malpal here, Leonard?
Malpal is not here.
Okay.
Tito Luna is not here.
Okay. Xander Bogaerts, Juan Soto, and Kim all hit home runs, and Joe Musgrove threw 7 strong innings to lead the Padres to a 13-3 victory against the Nationals. The Padres scored in double digits in consecutive games for the first time this season. Bogaerts hit a 3-run shot, Soto connected to drive in 2 runs, and Kim hit his first career leadoff homer. Soto and Kim each had 3 RBIs. Bogaerts' home run was his 8th of the season. His last home run came exactly a month earlier at Washington. And Kim drove Corbin's 3rd pitch over the fence in center field, and that was his 7th. Patrick Corbin allowed 7 runs and 7 hits in 5 innings. Musgrove won his 3rd straight start and 5th straight decision over 6 starts. He held the Nationals to 1 run and 6 hits, struck out 7, and walked nobody. Michael Chavis homered in the 9th for the Nationals, and the Padres manager Bob Melvin, says that Michael Wacha has shoulder fatigue and will skip his scheduled start, which was tonight. Josiah Gray goes up against Matt Waldron. This is a knuckleballer who's making his big league debut tonight in Wacha's place. This is not a great start to the season for this youngster who is making his debut tonight for the Padres. He's 26 years old, and he has been hit around a lot at AAA. His ERA on the season at AAA is 7.02. He's got a 1.65 whip, 75 strikeouts, and 24 walks in 66 and 2/3 innings. So don't get too hyped up and excited. But still, watch out for him. I mean, maybe he's good. Knuckleballers, they have their way about him. See who has to catch for this guy. All right. What else we got? I love all the chat going on. I really appreciate all of you in the chat room. It's great to see you Unholy on a Saturday morning, and Boston Paul at Panera Bread enjoying his breakfast sandwich. And everybody that's joined us, we really appreciate it. Michael Busch doubled in the go-ahead run in the 4th inning. Mookie Betts homered. The Dodgers beat the Astros 3-2. All right, so the Dodgers have not given up on their hatred for the Astros and what happened with their cheating scandal. And even though most of these players aren't even with the Astros anymore, because I believe that was in 2017, if I remember correctly, but you remember it. The Dodgers and the Yankees both really felt like the Astros ripped them off and stole from them when they got caught cheating. But the Dodgers fans did not forget. When the Astros lineup was introduced to boos, the loudest boos came for Altuve and Bregman. There was 49,795 fans in Dodger Stadium. They chanted, "Cheater, cheater," in between heavy booing during their at-bats. Altuve and Bregman were combined 0 for 6. Bregman walked twice. Dodgers starter Emmett Sheehan allowed 2 runs and 3 hits in 6 innings. He struck out 4 and walked 2. You know, he made his big league debut with 6 hitless innings last week against the Giants. He gave up his first major league hit after tossing 8 scoreless innings to begin his career. J.P. France gave up 3 runs and 8 hits in 6 innings. He struck out 4 and walked 2. Brusdar Graterol got the save. And that was his 4th save of the season. There were back-to-back homers, Mauricio Dubon and Kyle Tucker, and James Outman went 3 for 3. The Astros transferred Michael Brantley and Jose Urquidy to the 60-day injured list, and the Dodgers' Max Muncy is still feeling some tightness and won't be activated as hoped. The Astros acquired Spencer Watkins, a pitcher from Baltimore, for $100,000. He was optioned to AAA Sugarland. And tonight you get to see Ronel Blanco. He's making his 4th start of the career after beginning the season as a relief pitcher. He's going up against Bobby Miller, who's been very good, 2.83 ERA, and coming off of his first loss. We're almost done, everybody. We're almost done, and I'm going to get it done on time. Hello, Mitch. Nice to see you, too. Okay. The Giants beat the Diamondbacks 8-5. Before yesterday, Arizona had won 8 of its last 9 road games and was 12-2 over its last 14. I love this Logan Webb. He gave up 4 runs, but I still love him. All right. 4 runs on 5 hits. 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. The Giants are 4-0 over his last 4 outings. They've won for the 11th time in 12 games dating back to June 11th.
Laura has made it.
Hello, Laura. Great to see you. I was starting to wonder about you, you know. I was wondering. I said someone needs to go find Laura. It's very nice to see you, Laura. Zach Davies lost his 3rd straight start. Davies was done after allowing 6 earned runs on 6 hits over 4 innings, leaving him 2 innings shy of 100 on the season. Michael Conforto hit a pair of 2-run doubles. Evan Longoria homered. Camilo Doval got his 21st save. Manfred stinks, okay? That's all I got to say about that. Manfred is the worst. Giants outfielder Mike Yastrzemski was placed on the 10-day injured list with a strained left hamstring, retroactive to Thursday, but Kapler is optimistic for a short stint on the injured list because the MRI only showed minor inflammation. Isan Diaz was recalled. Diaz, maybe? I'm so self-conscious of the Diazes, okay? I don't know. Maybe they're all Diaz. I guess, all right. Ross Stripling struck out 10 over 4 innings in a rehab outing with Class A San Jose on Thursday. Tonight you get to see Merrill Kelly against Ryan Walker. Merrill Kelly is 1 win away from back-to-back double-digit win seasons, and Arizona is 6-1 in his last 7 starts. Thanks, everybody, for joining me this morning on a Saturday afternoon. Tomorrow you'll hear Lady in the Legend. And, of course, every day at 9 o'clock. If you have questions, if you want to talk fantasy, you just bring it on in here and we'll talk to you every day. Have a great, wonderful day. And go Reds.